Welcome to OmTimes TV, a division of OmTimes Media and Broadcasting. Welcome to the Enlightenment Academy, where the journey of discovering your inner magic begins. In a world filled with endless possibilities, we invite you to explore the depths of your being and unlock the mysteries of your true potential. Through insightful teachings, transformative practices, and enlightening conversations, we empower you to access the brilliance that resides within you. Join us as we embark on a path of self-discovery, empowerment, and spiritual awakening. Are you ready to tap into the infinite wellspring of magic within you? Here is your host, Venus Castleberg.
Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to Do I Have Spiritual Gifts and How to Tap into My Unique Abilities. I am so grateful to be here with you today. Thank you for watching and listening now and in the future. Usually we have this open for lines so people can call in. Unfortunately, I am in a place that does not have cell coverage, and so I'm not going to be able to take those live questions. But please feel free to comment and ask questions as you go along. And as soon as I'm back in a good cell coverage area, I will gladly reply to your messages and your questions and anything that you put in the comments. So let's just begin today by starting with lowering our walls and barriers. Walls and barriers are tricky because we are told to protect ourselves, and that walls and barriers are actually the thing that does protect us. But what I have found is actually a lot of times, most of the time, walls and barriers cut off our awareness. And so we're actually not able to be as aware, intuitive, psychic, tapped into our gifts because we're in this almost cocoon that we've put ourselves in. Now, I'm not saying, not to protect yourselves or not to have maybe opalescent white light surrounding you so that dark energies can't come in or bother you. That you can definitely do that, but there's a difference between opalescent white light because it allows the energy to come through. It allows the awareness to come through. It allows you to expand your awareness, whereas walls and barriers are very solid if you think about them, right? So go ahead and just lower your walls and barriers, even the ones you don't know about. Destroy and uncreate them, push them down, pull them down. And you created them, so if you want to pick them back up, that's fine. You can pick them back up, but maybe just for the next 50 minutes or so, just allow yourself to be here, relax, receive, and see what you perceive when you don't have walls and barriers. I wonder what else might be possible for you if you choose to lower your walls and barriers on a regular basis. I actually have a fairly recent student. I think she started working with me like 3 or 4 months ago. And this is literally the first tool I give people who want to tap into their abilities more and become more aware, is to lower their walls and barriers. So you can do that right now. Lower the ones, even the ones you don't know about. And then expand your awareness beyond the room that you're in, beyond the building, maybe even beyond the country and beyond the state. But just notice how much more are you aware when you lower those walls and barriers. So she shared that she's been doing this every day since I gave her the tool, and her ability to perceive energy, to be aware, her intuition, her psychic abilities have been amplified exponentially. And that just tickles me because it's true. Like when you expand your awareness, what are you aware of? And how much more can we be aware of if we're willing to expand that awareness beyond the little cocoon that we often think that we should be in. And it's also a misnomer that you need protection anyway. And I know I just ruffled some feathers. I guess I'm okay with that on my show, because if you really believe that you are the most powerful being in your life, then no one and nothing can affect you. So you get to say, and you are the most powerful being in your life. And no one and nothing is more powerful than you unless you believe it to be so, or you give your power to that being, person, experience, right? So we often talk about clearing the past and letting go of beliefs that maybe we had when we were a child that we adopted because our parents got divorced, or our parents weren't nice people, like whatever it is, right, that happened. But if you've ever noticed, there's some people that like really buy that they're a victim and that they're a victim to their story. And then there's other people that see, okay, that yes, that stuff happened, but what was the good that came out of it? What did I learn? What was the blessing in it? Because the universe always conspires for us and never against us. I say that a lot, but it's really good to remember. So even when stuff sucks, when we're broke, when we're having a heartbreak, when we, are something new in our life, we're moving and that can be stressful. Like whatever's happening or happened in your life doesn't have to dictate who you are. And if you keep buying that you're a victim to life, then it's kind of hard to see the miracle in life. So the walls and barriers we think are like this false sort of protection, instead of just going, okay, if I was willing to lower my walls and barriers and expand my awareness, how much more would I be aware of? And then I would know not to date that person or not to go down that alley. Like, when you're not supposed to be somewhere, or you're probably not supposed to be with that person. Now, granted, we all make choices, and choices create awareness. So you might have known that you shouldn't have dated that person, but you did anyway, and you gained awareness. Good job. High five. So if you're willing to just be like, okay, I think these walls and barriers protect me, but they actually keep me separate from the magic, the miracles, seeing the blessing in everything. And when you're struggling with stuff, I totally get it. It's hard to see the blessing. I have been there. It's hard to see it when you're in the middle of a heartbreak or you're broke. But I'm going to encourage you to try. And the best way I know to try, or the best way to start, is to find something to be grateful for. Like, yes, the heartache sucks, but I'm actually glad I'm not in a relationship with that person, right? They didn't turn out to be the person I thought they were anyway, right? And there was something inside of you that knew that. So you might be wondering, all right, I thought this was supposed to be about, do I have spiritual gifts and how do I tap into those unique abilities? It is, but it starts with being willing to not be guarded to everything. So I used to be very guarded to everything and everyone, and very shielded. And yeah, I have an interesting history and past, and some of you know some of it, and I'm not going to share that today, but just suffice it to say, I have experienced all of it. So everything that you're going through right now, I probably have gone there and done that. I've had crummy relationships. I've had very strong stint of drugs and alcohol. I've had heartache. I've had broken bones. I've been broke. I've been homeless, not on the street homeless, but I was homeless and living on, with a girlfriend of mine until I could get on my feet. But it was still homeless, you know. Um, so, uh, so yeah, like I've experienced all those things, and I can honestly look back at my life, and I'm so grateful for every experience because of how much I learned, how much I gained, how much that was the only time I've ever been homeless, because I was like, yeah, that's the closest I want to be to like being on the street ever, and that's never going to happen again. And so I, put my big girl boots on and went to work and made stuff happen so I didn't have to be homeless, right? But that was a choice. If you talk to most homeless people, kind of a side note, but since I have lots of time to talk today, if you talk to most homeless people, most of them will tell you they're there by choice. Isn't that interesting? Like they actually choose it, right? So, but we think they're a victim. Now, some people do hit hardship and do end up homeless, and I've met some of those for sure. But there are quite a few that like, yeah, I don't have to worry about a mortgage or my car. I don't have to worry about a job. Like I get to just do what I want to do and live the way that I want to live. So it's just a choice. And you're like, what does that have to do with spiritual gifts? Well, one, if we don't have walls and barriers, then how much more aware are we? Meaning, how much more psychic? How much more intuitive? How much more do you follow those whispers, right? I was actually going to be live on Monday, today, and I got the whisper I'm in West Yellowstone, and I got the whisper to go camping, right? And it was a very last minute, like throw it together. When I got the whisper, I happened to like go across the street to the campground, and they just happened to have a campsite. I don't know if, for those of you who aren't in the US, it's Labor Day weekend. So that's in Yellowstone, and there was a campsite, and it's actually a campsite that I would like. Like sometimes there's campsites that nobody wants, but people take them because, but there's this beautiful like wooded campsite in Yellowstone, kind of away from all the other campsites, really removed. And I was like, wow, it's perfect. And if I had ignored, or if I had been like, had this plan, right? I'm gonna expand out here a little bit. So walls and barriers can also be all the places where you have a plan, right? I'm planning to do a XYZ or ABC, right? But when you have a plan, have you ever noticed? Yeah, miracles happen, magic happens. And I'm not saying don't plan anything. Obviously, you have to book airline tickets sometimes, and you got to book a truck to move and stuff like that. Obviously, there's legitimate things that you have to plan. But if you are willing to stay open, lower your walls and barriers, let go of any plan that you had, then the magic and the miracles can show up. So I just happened to be in Yellowstone yesterday, just enjoying the sights with my family. And then I had that whisper. And I was like, wow, I didn't even think I was going to come up here and go camping. And then it was available, right? But I have also committed to myself, this is between me and myself, that I will listen to that intuition, that I will follow the whispers, because I know that's a gift. And it's a gift that's available to anyone and everyone. It's not just to some. Everybody has the capacity, and you all have had experiences of having this intuitive pull, this gut knowing. Sometimes it's a gut knowing, don't date that guy. And sometimes it's a gut knowing, hey, go this way, or go meet that person, like talk to that person, or go, check to see if they have any campsites, like random stuff. I get them all the time. And I can honestly say, when I'm willing to follow those, more magic happens. and then more magic happens. Because the more that you follow the whispers and acknowledge the whispers, the stronger they're going to get. So the more that you acknowledge your intuition and you follow your intuition, the stronger it will get. Now, the opposite is also true. If you find yourself ignoring your intuition, ignoring your intuitive pulse, like to call that person or to do that certain thing, that class or whatever that intuition is telling you, then when you start to ignore your intuition and ignore your gifts and ignore your capacities, they do diminish. Everything grows with acknowledgement and gratitude. Everything. So you want more money flows, it grows with acknowledgement and gratitude. You want a better body, it grows with acknowledgement and gratitude. You want more intuition, more gifts, more capacities. They grow with gratitude and acknowledgement. But when you judge, it cuts it off, right? So when you are judging, you are cutting off whatever it is that you're aware of or whatever it is that you're wanting more of, because you're judging like your money flows, or you're judging your partner. How well does it work out when you judge your partner? Not that great. But when you're grateful for them, everything grows. Your relationship grows, it gets greater, it gets easier. Just speaking from personal experience, as somebody who used to have a lot of points of view in relationships, and now I'm just really grateful for the people in my life. Not just romantic relationships, just people in general, the people that I get to hang out with, the people I get to know, the people I get to create with. I'm very, very grateful for each and every one of you, and you know who I'm talking about right now. So being willing to let go of the plan, let go of the walls and barriers, let go of anything that's keeping you from your gifts and capacities. Now, sometimes some of us might say some of it is fear. Cool. Fear is not real. Ruffling some new feathers, I'm sure. It's just something that we make up, often because somebody says we're supposed to feel fear. So I'll give you a great example. When you have had an emergency situation, did you curl up in a ball in fear, or did you just get to work and handle it? Most of the time, people have fear after the fact because they think they're supposed to have had fear. And so they're like, oh, I wasn't afraid in the moment, I just handled it, but now I should be afraid because everybody says I should have been afraid. Right? A great example, when I was young, stayed out past curfew and fell asleep at the wheel and drove my car into the snow in the ditch. I was fine. I wasn't panicked at all. I wasn't worried about anything. But every time I tell people that story, they're like, oh my God, you could have died. I'm like, no, I wasn't going to die. I knew that my clock was not up that day. And 5 minutes later, in the middle of, it was like 4 o'clock in the morning, in the middle of the night, or is that considered first thing in the morning? My stepdad was out looking for me, and he just happened to drive by 5 minutes later and found me and found my car. And right, so I was fine. But I never had fear about that. But I can tell you, every time I tell that story to somebody, there's always somebody that goes, oh, you could have died. I'm like, I guess, but no. I knew I wasn't going to die that day. So I didn't develop fear of driving or falling asleep at the wheel or, any of that stuff. I was just like, okay, that just happened. Now, what else is possible? I don't push myself and tend to drive when I'm really tired, because I don't choose to go back in the ditch. but at the same time, I don't have this after effect of fear. So I share that because that's often what we consider a block or a wall or barrier that we have to our gifts, because we think that so there's something to be afraid of. Like, well, what if I see ghosts, or what if I feel them, or what if I hear them? And as somebody, when I first started to open, hearing a spirit outside of me crying in a graveyard, I was like, no. So I had some, like, but notice the no. What was that? Wall and barrier. It was an instant wall and barrier. You know how long it took me to like really start to lower that wall and barrier? Because I was so adamant about not hearing voices outside my head. I was like, nope, not going to be the crazy lady hearing voices outside her head. It's like, okay, it's a choice. But the wall and barrier, right? So now I lower the walls and barriers, and I can communicate with my team. I have more whispers and intuition. I see dead people. I actually see spirits. I can hear my team talk to me, like, right? But those walls and barriers that I had put up kept me separate from my gifts. They kept me thinking that I was protecting myself. They actually kept me in isolation even, right? And then I would like open my sight, and because I was so adamant about not hearing, my spiritual team in the beginning, this is in the beginning, literally had to play like charades with me. They'd like show me stuff and I'd have to guess what it meant. Like I'd have to like look up symbolism and like so that's just an example of where we block it and how do we open it back up. Over those walls and barriers. Lower them even more. Even the ones you don't know about, right? Because everybody has the ability to tap into spiritual gifts. Everybody. Not just some, everybody. And spiritual gifts are definitely, there's different spiritual gifts. You can have intuitive abilities, you can have healing talents, you can have psychic senses. And I would honestly say mediumship, channeling, I would honestly say that any of those are available to anyone and everyone if you choose it and if you lower the walls and barriers. Now, sure, you're going to be aware and you're still going to have intuition and stuff like that if you have walls and barriers. I'm just saying, if you want to tap into them or expand them exponentially, try just lowering your walls and barriers and letting go of any of the like beliefs or programs or stories you've been telling yourself about, it's dangerous or I'm going to be in danger or whatever. Remember what I said in the beginning? No one and nothing is more powerful than you unless you give it power. So if you're like, okay, I'm going to open to spirits, great. Some people see spirits like, the Sixth Sense movie was a thing, right? Like it showed everybody that there are people out there that can see spirits and see them as they died. The reason they see them as they died is information for who they're talking to. So let's say I'm giving you a reading and I'm channeling your dead grandma. This doesn't really happen for me. I usually get like, what did they look like? And like maybe some sort of trinket or something that actually meant something to you. Like the other day, I was doing a reading for somebody, and I think it was her grandfather showed up. But anyway, he was showing me a book, and I'm like, I don't know why he's showing me a book, but he's showing me a book. And she goes, oh yeah, he gave me a book. I have one of his books. And I was like, oh, cool. But who knew, right? So I often get like images of things. So I don't see the way they died, but there are other mediums that see the way they died as information for the people that they're reading for. So if they died of I don't know. You remember in that movie, like the guy died of a gunshot to the head, I think it was. Um, so the back of his head was blown off. So, but it shows up differently for everybody, and the universe will only give you what you can handle. That's the other piece I really want you to get today. Like if you're not ready, you won't start to see spirits. If you're truly not ready and you can't handle it, you won't start to hear spirits. Like, right? But when you're ready, everything can open as if by magic. And you get to say, you're like, okay, I think I'd really like to, I don't know, communicate with the dead or talk to my spirit guides or, channel extraterrestrials. Anything is possible for you. You just have to ask for it, lower your walls and barriers, and be open to receiving the gifts and capacities that are already there for everyone. Thank you very much. We're going to take a very short break right now, and then we'll come right back and talk some more about how to open your capacities and spiritual gifts.
OmTimes TV. Imagine becoming a super influencer. Reinvent yourself, invest in your brand, and then manifest your success with a robust spheric approach. OmTimes Media and Broadcasting offers a unique and multifaceted way to become the spiritual and conscious influencer you deserve to be by putting your message across our powerful platform with its proven record of integrity and excellence. Through our produced shows, OmTimes offers the opportunity to become a social media TV personality, a radio show host, an OmTimes magazine columnist, and a syndicated podcaster, all in one shot. By live streaming your show on OmTimes TV and broadcasting it across the extensive OmTimes radio and TV networks, you become more than a host. You become an ambassador and a force for positive change. OmTimes. Open yourself to the possibilities.
If I could be you, and you could be me for just 1 hour. If we could find a way to get inside each other's minds. Walk a mile in my shoes. Walk a mile in my shoes. Well, before you abuse, criticize, and accuse, walk a mile in my shoes.
Hello, welcome forward. Nice to be with you all. So some of the other common blocks that we can have, obviously, like I mentioned, fear. You can definitely have doubt, societal conditioning, right? So many of us are gifted and have been gifted since we were children, and we turn it off because parents thought it was great, like they told us that wasn't possible, or we didn't want to be weird, we didn't want to be different, right? So when I was very young, I had an imaginary friend who I later learned was an imaginary after all. But after that, I was young, maybe 5, 6 years old, and then learned that somehow it wasn't okay to have imaginary friends. So I stopped having an imaginary friend, right? So, but where did you decide, again, putting up some sort of wall and barrier, like, okay, I'm aware of spirits, or I'm aware I have imaginary friends or whatever, and they're not imaginary, and then you cut it off by putting up that wall and barrier, by putting up blocks to it, by telling it to stop, right? So one of the things that we can do now is be like, okay, I'm lowering my walls and barriers, and I'm just going to be open and receive. And maybe start asking yourself some questions like, what am I aware of that I've been ignoring? Or what gift is ready to be acknowledged within me? And allow yourself to just open and receive and see what happens. See what comes forward from that questioning A great question from Access Consciousness that I love to use regularly is, what else is possible here that I've never considered? Cool. Well, thank you for everyone. I'm so grateful for you. I would really like to now do a guided visualization to help enhance our spiritual gifts, awaken spiritual gifts, or maybe just get in tune with spiritual gifts that you've already had, that you've maybe just been pretending that you don't have. Breathe in, exhale out. Find yourself relaxing. Feel your feet on the floor. Maybe close your eyes. If you're driving, don't close your eyes, of course, but if you're somewhere where you can just relax and receive, breathe in, exhale out. Breathe in, exhale out. Relax the body and the mind. And just like we were doing perhaps for the last half hour or so, just lowering the walls and barriers, even the ones we don't know about. Expand your awareness out. Breathe in, exhale out. With every breath, letting yourself become more and more relaxed. Breathe in, exhale out. More and more relaxed. And then I want you to imagine a calm, serene, safe place where you feel completely safe, at ease, and peace. It could be a garden, a temple, or a place in nature. But allow yourself to just become aware of how it feels to be in this calm, safe place. Maybe one of your favorite places on the planet. What does it look like? What do you see? What do you feel? What do you know? Maybe what do you hear? Or what do you smell? Do you smell flowers, incense? Do you hear birds, wind chimes, singing bowls? Allow your body to give you the experience of being in this calm, safe place with your body. Include your body. Allow your body to be here with you. With every breath, just allowing yourself to become deeper and deeper relaxed. And as you relax into this place and absorb with all of your senses, I want you to become aware of your inner guide, your true self. Maybe some of you call it your higher self or your inner wisdom. And just visualize a wise, loving presence approaching you. And as this inner guide, this true self approaches you, what do they look like? How do they feel? What do you notice about them? Just observing without judgment. And as they come closer to you, they have a gift for you. And this gift is representing your spiritual abilities. Notice what it looks like. What it feels like. Maybe even what it sounds like. And remember that this gift you already have had. Maybe in this lifetime or another lifetime. But now you're just remembering this spiritual gift that your true self is reminding you of. Breathe in, exhale out, relax, receive, remember. Relax, receive, remember. Let that spiritual gift remind you of what you're capable of what you know that maybe you've been pretending not to know. And receive. Relax, receive, and remember. Relax, receive, and remember. Allow yourself to receive the gift fully. Allow it to merge with your energy, to touch every fiber of your being, to remind every cell in your body and every molecule in your energy field to remember this gift, this capacity, this awareness that you've already always had. You just forgot somewhere along the way. Allow it to activate and awaken your spiritual abilities. Maybe even becoming aware of this particular gifting capacity or remembering this gifting capacity can create a chain effect like dominoes. That as you awaken this one, it knocks down and awakens the next, and then the next, and then the next. Allowing yourself to ascend and awaken to a new vibration, to a new frequency. To many gifts and capacities that you already have. Relax, receive, remember. And anywhere where you feel doubt or fear or uncertainty coming up, just notice that those are walls and barriers, and let yourself lower your walls and barriers some more. Relax, receive, remember. And just perceive, how does that feel in your body? What do you notice? What are you aware of? Does it somehow feel different? And allow yourself to, with this remembrance, with this new energy or this revived energy, allow yourself to now expand your energy out even more, maybe around the world, and perceive each other. You can perceive me as I'm perceiving you, but become aware of the interconnectedness, the oneness, the grid that connects us all. And notice how much more are you aware. And your awareness doesn't require much, right? So maybe you're aware of somebody at random, you think of them and you just know that they're physically not doing well, and then you just send them a little healing energy on the gigantic web that we're all connected on. But it's like a fraction of a second. It doesn't even require actual thought. It just requires this awareness, and oh, that person requires something. You don't even have to know what they require. Right? Or, oh, that whisper's telling me to sign up for that class or buy that book. This is where you get to learn not only the gratitude for what you're receiving and the awareness, but also learn to trust yourself. Trust that as you think of somebody, they may require something. You can pick up the phone and call them. That's an option. Or maybe you just send them a little energetic contribution. Or send them the angels. Or ask for contribution from the universe on their behalf. Or maybe you become aware that it's time to move, that it's time to live in a new place. Maybe this new place is more of a frequency and a vibration that matches you, where you are in your life, and where you'd like to go, and what you'd like to do, and who you're choosing to be. Some people will come and go based on what energy you vibrate at. And as you awaken more of your spiritual gifts or tap into them more, some people will leave because they don't understand, or they don't get it, or they don't want to change their beliefs, and that's okay. You get to choose to live a life that works for you. And I have never known more joy in my own personal life than the times where I was being me and accepting my gifts and capacities and being willing to be weird and different because I was being me. So where can you be you? Be the gift you are. Use all of those talents and abilities that you have. You can use them to make your life a better life, or you can even use them to make the world a better place. The choice is yours. There is no right or wrong, good or bad. You can totally just use your gifts for your family if that's what you want to do. And what else? What else in your life would bring you more joy? More money? More health and vitality? What can you add? What can you acknowledge? What can you remember that will make your life even greater? Breathe in, exhale out. Breathe in, exhale out. And maybe as I'm talking and as you're tuning into these gifts and capacities, you might be feeling or perceiving others awakening within you as if by magic, because you are relaxing, you are receiving, and you are remembering. And let go of the need to figure it out the minute you try to go into understanding something or planning. This is what I'm going to do with this. Notice how that energy creates these kind of containers, walls and barriers, a plan of action. You don't have to do anything with your gifts and capacities. You can just be them. And that beingness is such a gift and invitation to others to be themselves. And then if it's light or you get the intuitive pulse to go do something with it, awesome. Then go do that. But without the need to do something to prove that you have something. What if you could just be the gifts? And when it's light and fun and appropriate, you can use them. The beingness is so much different than doingness. We're trying to make things happen. Breathe in, exhale out, relax, receive, remember. And I'm going to encourage you going forward from today that you just relax, receive, and remember. And that when there's a time for action and there's a time for doing, you will know. You will have the awareness. You will know. But for now, just enjoy it. Enjoy as you are awakening more, as you are remembering more. Breathe in, exhale out, relax, receive, and remember. And take a couple of deep breaths in. Really becoming aware of your body and your energy and how it actually feels different. And just observe it for the next few days. You don't have to do anything. Again, don't get into the planning and the fixing and you don't even have to tell anybody. Really relax, receive, remember. Maybe rub your hands together, slowly, gently opening your eyes. And yeah, as I was saying, I'd really like to just encourage you over the next couple of days, just maybe spend some time in nature, spend some time in meditation. You can definitely revisit that meditation. That was a potent one. It kicked my butt. But you can just allow yourself to be in that energy and start to observe the difference and how different you feel and how that contributes to you and your body and maybe your life, and how it ripples out and affects people around you or affects things in your life. And just remember, relax, receive, and remember is your mantra for the next few days. And I look forward to hearing how that goes for you. Have a wonderful day, a wonderful week, and I'll see you again next Monday. Bye.